Please join me in welcoming Reverend Warren Nash from Canterbury United Methodist Church.
Good evening to you all. JT has asked me to spend a few minutes talking to you about the Council's faith-based initiative, a multi-year approach to strengthening the relationship between the Council and its partner organizations who are faith-based. But I don't think I can tell you that story without starting off by explaining to you about why scouting is so important to my family, if you'll bear a personal reference. 29 years ago tomorrow, my first son, Wilson, was born here in Birmingham. At that time, we were members of Highlands United Methodist Church. And it turns out that Walter and Edna Rush were also members of Highlands. On that first day of life, Wilson met his future scoutmaster. And for those 29 years, Walter Rush has looked over Wilson as a friend, as an adult mentor, and ultimately, about 16 years after he was born, handed him his eagle when he was a scoutmaster at Troop 320. I have two other sons, a son Graham, who received his eagle from Troop 63 from the hands of David Dowd. And I have another son, Dixon, who just recently got his eagle from Troop 63 from the hands of Bubba Wells. My three sons have made eagle because of the great organization that the Greater Alabama Council is. They are the third generation of eagles in my family. I'm an eagle, and my brother is an eagle, and my dad is an eagle as well. And so to say that scouting is important to our family is an understatement, perhaps. But it's because of the personal relationships, the relationships like Walter and Edna Rush. Edna took care of Wilson in Sunday school as a baby. Forged within the bounds of a United Methodist Church that began years and years ago, that's where relationships between the Scouts and the faith-based organizations where it really begins. I have three sons. I also have three scouting organizations at the church where I serve as executive minister. At Canterbury, I like to say that our church is kind of like scouting heaven. You know, we've got Pack 63, which has about 80 Cubs in it. And we have Troop 63, which has about 120 Scouts in it. And you met one of our Venture Crew members tonight, Venture Crew 2010, which has 30 or 35 folks in it, I think. So you have all three of those organizations that are alive and well, and it's my privilege to sign all those rechartering papers every year. We're also delighted to welcome the Eagle Boards to Canterbury for the first year and hope that you will stay here and enjoy our campus for many years to come. So there's an example of why scouting is important to me, and you get a sense of why scouting is important to Canterbury. We regard it as an extension of our ministry to children and to youth. The way in which we minister in the world, call young people to a path slightly different than the culture that surrounds them. Across the council, some 30% of the units in the Greater Alabama Council are connected to United Methodist churches. 159 packs and troops are connected in that way. Almost 2,400 adult registered volunteer leaders serve in those units, and almost 5,500 youth. 38% of our youth sit inside sponsored organizations that are sponsored by the United Methodist Church. So you can see how important scouting is to our church. Pleased to say that every one of our units continued in this very difficult year. And so, if we're honest with ourselves, 2013 has been a bit of a tough year in the faith-based community as it regards scouting. And so really this is a perfect time for the council to launch a new faith-based initiative. JT has asked me to tell you that we are going to emphatically answer the question, will they take God out of scouting now? The answer is emphatically no. We are going to embark on a multi-year program to strengthen the relationship between the faith-based organizations and the Greater Alabama Council by stressing the religious emblem program, by making sure that every district has a religious emblem coordinator, by stressing Scout Sunday and Scout Sabbath, by hosting faith-based gatherings of scouting and religious leaders, and in 2015, holding the first religious award weekend for the council. The bottom line of all of this is to help congregations understand how scouting can contribute to that congregation's membership growth, retention, leadership program, and finances. But even more important, to help those congregations understand how they can minister to the lives of young men and young women in an even more uncertain world with the values of scouting that remain timeless. The bottom line is that duty to God is more important this year than it ever has been before. In the United Methodist Church, we're proud to be your partners in scouting. Thank you.